Hello, friends. Welcome to the Career Guru podcast. I am your host, Steve Yanovsky. What a glorious day it is to start your path in a new career. Doors are opening here at the Boston Career Institute even as we speak. And I'm here holding the key for you. So tune in, stay sharp, and enjoy yourself. This is going to be great. Hashtag Let's Career Up.
Greetings, career gurus, aspiring career gurus, guru professionals, and conversationalists all across the fruited plain. I am Steve Yanovsky, your career guru, coming to you via the internet to bring you yet another installment of the Career Guru podcast, which is going to be interesting to everyone, including myself, because I keep discovering new things as we do this. The more we delve into these topics that we're discussing, the more of a guru I become. So this is a mutually beneficial relationship that we have here. Today, I want to capitalize on the previous podcast that we had about making quote unquote failure work for you and lead you to success. We touched upon quite a few things in developing strategies to deal with what people perceive as failure. But we already know that failure is really not that end step. There's so many facets to success and so many facets to failure that it's almost unfair to call this failure. It's a personal, subjective account of what goes on. Sometimes people are very quick to point out failure to you, but we don't really care about that too much because people have ulterior motives. You should be the master of your own domain. You should understand what is your success, what is your failure based on objective guidelines and principles. Okay, we talked a lot about all of this and what it takes. But one of those things that we mentioned last time was building resilience, meaning failure gives you extra strength and coping mechanisms for you to move forward. So what do we do about that? There's specific things that we develop within ourselves to deal with this thing that we create, this construct of failure. So coping with failure or building resilience is a key factor. So let's first discuss what resilience actually is and what building it means. Building resilience is developing coping strategies to deal with failure. And it might include things like mindfulness practices, for a better lack of any other term, and I'll talk about that. Getting support and engaging in activities that empower you emotionally to give you that extra strength as you move forward, that resilience, that package of knowledge and armor, if you will, to help you deal with the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that awaits all of us in this world of business and personal lives. We have to keep going back for more in order to succeed. This is in the realm of feelings. Feelings are these understanding, the knowledge which elicits a emotional response from a person. And that is something that may push you forward in the right direction or kind of get you to sit in the corner in a fetal position, sucking your thumb. This is not what we want to be. This is not where we want to be. We want to get out there and elicit proper emotional response. So depending on how you see things and depending on what happens, you first have to analyze what transpired here. Where did things go wrong? You set a reasonable expectation for yourself. Or, we talk about setting expectations which are reasonable, but a lot of people fail because they set unreasonable expectations for themselves. So this is something that you really have to take into serious consideration. Did I really set an appropriate target for myself? Did I set an appropriate goal for me to achieve? Was I equipped properly to handle this? Tomorrow I want to run for the office of the President of the United States. Come on. Okay? And then you fail. Oh my gosh, you didn't even make it on the ballot. You didn't collect enough signatures. Did you set up a realistic target? No, you didn't. Okay, before you run for significant public office, barring a few deviations from the norm, you first have to run for a local dog catcher. And even for that, you need to get the right number of votes to be appointed to that position. So make sure that you follow the steps. You just can't go from 1 to 10. You have to step on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you hit the 10. Make sure you set a reasonable expectation, and so you don't have to develop these negative feelings if it wasn't appropriate in the first place. So first you analyze what happened, and when you broke apart this quote unquote failure into smaller components and you analyze them and say, okay, I can work on this now. Okay, this is why I failed. Now, how does that make me feel? So I failed. Am I going to sit there and beat myself up? So first and foremost, acknowledge your emotions. It's okay to feel things. Emotions do come with failure, and we are our biggest critics. Okay, unless you're some kind of a, you have some kind of a pathology in that regard and you blame everybody else. No, it's most important for people to be introspective and to see, if I failed, what did I do to cause me to fail, and what must I do to move forward? But before that, I feel bad. Okay, it's all right to acknowledge feeling bad, but there's no need to spend too much time there. As I keep saying over and over again, it's very easy to be beat down because it's our natural state. It's easy. It takes no effort to be beat down, but it takes effort to be upbeat. So we need to push ourselves out of this funk. Is there disappointment? Yes. Is there frustration? Yes. Sometimes there's sadness. Acknowledging these things first is key. Like in any 12-step program, hey, my name is Steve and I'm an alcoholic. Not in this case, but you understand. First, you need to acknowledge what happened. Yes, I made a mistake. Do I need to do anything about this? And one of the most important things in being resilient is to reframe your perspective on failure. Reframe it. It doesn't have to be a negative experience. It's okay to say, that's all right. Okay, well, that was a teachable moment. All right, I learned a valuable lesson. Let's apply that to the next attempt at this particular problem. Okay? Now, the other thing is that's important, once you reframed it and it's no longer negative. Okay, interesting thing, I always talk about questions on interviews, and some of the questions that you are asked during your interview are indeed somewhat negative. But the cardinal rule of interviewing is never to go into a negative territory, and it's to take a seemingly negative question and turn it on its head and make it a positive. For example, people may ask, what are your weaknesses? Well, everybody has some weaknesses. It's kind of foolish to say that I don't have any weaknesses. But once you start listing them, then you get into the negative territory. Most important is to reframe this perspective, and that's what we're talking about here, reframing this perspective and making it a positive experience. I don't believe in weaknesses. I believe in opportunities for improvement. Bam, we've just reframed our perspective. We just did that. So instead of weakness, we're talking opportunities for improvement, and the opportunities are constant and ongoing. This is what we do. And this is how we must treat this setback, temporary setback of failure. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. You will get up and you will show up for your next challenge. And remember, showing up is always 50% of the battle. And I shared my story with you when I took a nosedive into a slushy puddle as I was running to catch a train. And then just like that, I showed up to my interview. It was a waiting room full of people. It was one of the most coveted positions that people wanted to apply. There were at least 30 people, 25, 30 people sitting in a lobby. And there I was, covered in muck and mud and everything else. And, smiling from ear to ear. Okay? It's all about perspective. It's reframing. It was a conversation piece. Guess what? I got the job. They didn't get the job. Okay? I showed up. I was positive. I reframed it. I could have gone back, would have been late for the interview, and I wouldn't have had that story. But I reframed my point of reference, and in I went. I showed up, I did it, and I'm here to talk about it because it happens. I could have easily gone the other way, but then I probably wouldn't have wanted to work in that place anyway. Okay? I need to see if those people could relate to what I just went through, and they gave me an opportunity. If my state of dress was such an important factor for them, then it's okay. I would have gone on to something else. Okay, but we're talking about building coping skills with failure. And again, failure is not real. Failure it's like darkness. Darkness is the absence of light. Failure is the absence of trying again. Okay, all we have to do is try again, and failure is gone, and it's gone willingly. It goes away because failure is simply lack of action, lack of opportunity to try again. You don't have to fail. You just have to learn. For that, oftentimes, one of the most important things to do is to seek feedback from people who are capable of giving you actual feedback. Okay? So you don't have to ask a person who is a failure on how to succeed. Ask a successful person how they succeeded and what they would have done different in that situation. So this feedback, you have to go to your trusted friends. You have to find mentors, colleagues who can offer constructive criticism, not destructive. And I say, why did you do it in the first place? Sometimes it's important. Sometimes your goals need to be well thought out, and, sometimes they're unnecessary. Okay. But, go to the right person and they ask you right questions. You have to give them the right answers, and they're going to give you their perspective, which may shine a new light on what just transpired. Resilience also depends on focusing on your strength. You know what your weaknesses are or opportunity for growth. But if you focus just on that, you will always feel deficient. Always start off with your strength. Everyone has strength. Everyone has that oomph that gets them up in the morning to go out and accomplish things. Okay, so if you focus on that, you will succeed. Focus on the positive rather than dwelling on the negative. Focus on that. Notice how much time we're spending on that, because a lot of people are suffering through this. I see it on the comments I get. And it's like, I don't get tired repeating the same thing over and over again. Be positive, be positive, be positive. Get rid of the negativity by yourself, not with any, let's say, chemical involvement. There's no need to swallow pills or resort to alcoholic beverages to dull the pain of failure. There's no chemical solution to a psychological problem. You have to deal with these emotional setbacks and use them as opportunities for growth. That's really the key. And understanding that failure is nothing more than absence of trying again, then just by showing up to do something, you have already moved past that point. That simple act, not sitting there and ruminating, meaning dwelling on the same subject again and again and again, that's not going to get you nowhere. That's simply going to get you frustrated and deeper into a funk. No. Extract the lessons, set a reasonable expectation, and do it. Get feedback. Learn something. Talk to people who know. Talk to people who understand. Don't just talk to people who don't want to see you get hurt. Some of our loved ones will always say, oh, don't do that. There's no need for you to do that. Be careful. Don't expose yourself. If we don't do that, we already failed. Okay? Now, the other important thing to building resilience is to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. What does that mean? Well, people forget to rest. People forget to sleep enough. People forget about proper nutrition, proper hydration, exercise. All of those things give you extra physical strength and put you in I even hate using that safe space, that sunny area where it makes you feel good. Find yourself moving in that direction and take care of yourself. Treat yourself to a nice lunch or dinner with people that you appreciate, people who appreciate you. Okay, this is key. A lot of people negate this possibility of treating themselves to something good, and you have to do that, because treating yourself to good things, listening to music that you enjoy, having a nice meal, getting rested, and waking up in the morning ready to go, enjoying the smell of freshly roasted coffee that was just brewed. Treat yourself to this. If you like coffee, that is not necessary to go there, but it's important to understand that smelling good things puts us in a proper mood. A lot of people are resorting to chocolate and things like that because, taste and smell remind our brain very much of where it wants to be and where it doesn't want to be. Okay, so hearing things, smelling things, seeing good things will help you build that resilience. And, coupling this non-existing failure with positive experiences negates the negative experiences and feelings that you may have. It cancels them out completely and permanently. So coupling your negative emotions, for example, with something positive will get rid of the negativity. These are old Jedi tricks, so to speak. So do that. In some cases, seeking professional help. And I don't mean seeing a therapist or any person like that. Sometimes, of course, those people are necessary if you're dealing with a severe and permanent personal loss, for example. Sometimes, therapy is key. And there are people who specialize in career therapy as well. Yours truly not excluded. I have hundreds of people a year who come and see me personally, one-to-one, who have issues with reaching their economic and employment potential. I'm here for them. Okay, so seeking professional help and guidance sometimes is necessary. Okay, so if there is a struggle that got you so beat down that you just can't get past it, you can, and I advise you to seek professional help with people who are properly researched and who actually will empower you with the right strategies to develop these coping mechanisms to build resilience. But most importantly, coupling positivity with seemingly negative experiences will completely and totally erase the negativity and permanently and put you in the right frame of reference. The most important key here is to remember that failure is simply the lack of trying. If you keep trying, you have never failed. And remember, failure in many cases is a societal or personal construct that you have developed for yourself. So look it over again. Was it really a failure? And if you don't treat it as failure, don't call it failure. Call it a teachable moment. Call it experience. Call it education. And you're in the right place. You're already in the right zone. You got rid of the negativity and you move forward. All of these things, being compassionate to yourself, practicing self-compassion, being kind to yourself, will give you that resilience, that armor that will keep you going. It'll protect you from yourself and how you treat yourself and how you look at yourself. Just imagine that. Don't beat yourself up for something that you shouldn't do in the first place. Don't beat on yourself. It's okay. It's okay to feel regret. It's okay to feel remorse. And it's more important to develop resolve to move forward. These 3 R's, regret, remorse, resolve, and then a little bit of self-love, a reflection on what needs to be done, will get you to that point where you're going to be impervious to failure. All it's going to be is education, and education is always good. Well, I hope that makes sense. We're going to talk some more about these aspects, and remember, we're still dealing with a larger picture of procrastination and failure. So hopefully today's podcast gave you a little extra strength, a few more pieces of equipment that you have, emotional equipment, to deal with the challenges of everyday life and career growth. I'm here for you. Remember, BCI podcast at thebostoncareer.org. Please write to me with your questions. I'll be delighted to answer them. And if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for areas that you want me to address, I'm here for that. Well, with that in mind, I bid you all farewell. May God bless you. Have a wonderful day, week, and until next time we speak. I'm your career guru signing off. Until next time.
Well, friends and aspiring career gurus, this was fun. Thank you for tuning in. I feel enlightened, I feel empowered, and I'm feeling grateful that we spend time with you. For more information about Boston Career Institute, please visit our website, bostoncareer.org. Boston Career Institute has 3 campuses located in Brookline, Massachusetts, Malden, Massachusetts, and Lowell, Massachusetts. Call our toll-free number, 888-383-6058. For questions, comments, and or information about our podcast, email me at thecareerguru@bostoncareer.org. The Career Guru podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website, bostoncareer.org, or wherever you stream your podcast. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your rating and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by PodPro Entertainment, The Career Guru lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. # The New Radio. Looking forward to seeing you soon. All the best to you. My name is Steve Yanovsky. I am the Career Guru. May God bless you. # Let's career up.